barren red plain extends before you, the horizon defined by naught but a handful of distant hills and craters. The air around you is suffocating, the ground under your feet is toxic, and the silence of your surroundings is deafening. The year is 2050, and you were promised utopia, but instead have just arrived in asphodel. Welcome to Mars. When scientists dreamed about human colonization of the moon, Mars, and beyond during the 20th century, they imagined it as a purely technical feat, a complicated problem to be solved with an equally complicated combination of math, engineering, money, ingenuity, and willpower. In Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, the massive rotating spaceships are all decorated in the most utilitarian way possible, and astronauts don space suits and simplistic uniforms. This vision was produced during a time when those who were on the cutting edge of technology and human achievement imagined a future where politics, culture, and religion were cast aside, and the human race became homogenized in the singular pursuit of exploration and scientific discovery. Fast forward 60 years, and the people currently pursuing space exploration seem to follow the same ideal. But this is not working. There is something critical, I think, that is lost when we so faithfully cast aside so much of what makes us human. Ares, or Mars as he's known in the Romanized version of the Hellenic gods, though immortal, is much newer than some of the others, canonically speaking that is. Before the Olympians that most of us are so familiar with, there were the Titans, and before them the primordial gods. One of the earliest of these primordial beings was Gaia, or the spirit of Earth and Mother Nature, grandmother of Kronos, great-grandmother of Zeus, and great-great-grandmother of Ares. There are certain dimensions that are inherent to the universe. You're already familiar with these: length, width, depth, time. Mars has possessed all of these dimensions for just as long as the Earth has. It's a place that can be located, explored, and has had a history of changes. Mars is a place of infinite complexity, and yet it is so much easier to sum up than Earth. Imagine for a moment Earth as a sort of cultural heat map. Beginning somewhere in Ethiopia, as humanity spread out, bringing language, music, technology, and history with them, the new lands they colonized might as well have not existed before they arrived there, because the culture that would later define those regions could not have been conceived of until our arrival. Wallace Stegner once said that until it has had a poet, a place is not a place. But he was on the verge of a much deeper concept there. Perhaps the things that sentient life brings to a place, language, tradition, history, music, color, religion, all the things that the 20th century scientists and explorers might have seen as unnecessary, actually add a greater depth and complexity that the universe otherwise lacks. Though the universe is infinite and great, humanity makes it greater and more infinite. On the off chance I haven't completely lost you, let's return to the opening premise. It's 2050, and somehow we've established a permanent colony on Mars, a small outpost of life in a barren wasteland. Any future efforts of terraforming have yet to even be properly conceptualized, and so for many, many years, perhaps as long as a millennium, Mars will continue to lack the depth of culture and history that Earth possesses. When will Mars get its first poet? When will it become a real place? When will someone living there grow up nostalgic for a period of Martian history that they were not able to witness? When will someone sit up at night in their Martian bedroom and think, oh, to be alive on Mars in the 2360s, if only? I've been thinking a lot recently about the problems facing humanity. In many ways, the world is in a pretty sorry state at the moment. But I also think that with nearly 8 billion people, it's impossible to sum everything up with a one-dimensional diagnosis of things are bad or things are good. We are simultaneously living in 1,000 different renaissances and 1,000 different apocalypses. That's a really confusing and scary idea, but also kind of beautiful. Our expansion into other planets and star systems is as inevitable as our certain demise within the next century. And yet somehow we're supposed to still live our lives right now and have hope and all that. I guess to sum all of this up nicely, it is unconscionable to look forward to the future with hope, but I choose to anyway.